Hey guys, to start this video, I thought it would be fun to put in some stills of my face when I was making mistakes. They're pretty silly. Also, when stitching all of these videos together, I realized there was a ton of orbs in the background. So I'm going to comment with the timestamps and descriptions of them below. But if you find any, feel free to do the same. Okay guys, enjoy!
Hey peeps! So it is finally here, the day I start working on this Phillip glass violin concerto. It is, what time is it? Hello, time. It is 11:38 on January 12th, 2021, if we want to be exact. And I'm going to start my Phillip glass violin concerto. This was a concerto that I've listened to 30 times already as part of my practice prep. I've got my notebook ready. I have my sheet music. I encountered this, I think I heard part of this in a movie or something. I have to go back when I start doing some research. But I think that might be where I first heard this one. And then totally fell in love with it. So here I am. I figure, given the current situation, it would be a great time for me to dive into a new concerto because it's been a while since I've learned a new concerto. And this one's completely new to me. I've never played any excerpts from it. So I thought that might also be a really good opportunity to show what happens with a concerto from start to finish. From my perspective as a violinist, as a professional musician. So here we go. So when you get a concerto, it usually comes with the piano reduction. By the way, this is how it came to me from the internet, from Amazon. I don't treat my sheet music like this. So anyway, so this is the piano reduction. So basically, this concerto is originally written to be played with entire orchestra. So they take the entire orchestra part and try to squeeze it into a piano part. So I feel for pianists having to play piano reductions of orchestra music because that's a lot. All right, and then I have the part that pulls out, which is my part, the concerto part for the solo violin. Okay, I believe you can get this online for free. You can download it. The I always get these letters wrong. IMSLP, ISL, whatever it is. I'll put a link below in case you want to kind of follow along with what I'm doing. You can actually look at the sheet music as I'm playing it. Okay. One thing I definitely need to do is still sit down and write in my measure numbers. It's just easier for note taking. And then if I reference it in the video, if I say, okay, I'm in this movement and these measures if you're watching along, okay? All right, so I've got my coffee. I've got a candle on. I've got Petunia, my porcupine with my colored pencils because today's goal is to get through some fingers. So I'm starting with the correct fingers. I'm going to start with the section number 1 and we'll just see how far I get with my time that I have available today to work on this. But instead of recording the entire video, because I could practice for about 45 minutes at a time before needing a break, instead of making you suffer through that, what I'm going to do is record myself playing it, that section the very first time that I see it. And then in about 5 minutes of work, maybe 10, and then 15 minutes. So I'm going to put a timer on, and when those go off, I'll play it and record it for you so you can hear the progress that's going on, hopefully, over that time span. All right, so I don't need my piano reduction. That's something that I'll use to study the score later on. Okay, sure. Here we are. I am going to start with the first movement. Okay. Like I said, I'll put the link to where you can download and print out the PDF for the sheet music in the description box, but just so you know, here's what it looks like. Okay. This is the first page of the first movement. And I have rehearsal marks. I've got one. Oh, yes. I didn't account for that. So in my practice notebook, I put the sections 1, 2. I just looked and saw how many there were at the end, which was 41. But I didn't account for, the first 2 sections are rest. So I don't come in until the 3rd section. So bonus, I get to fill in sections 1 and 2 for the whole thing. Actually, I'll probably practice making sure I count correctly for those sections so I come in at the right place. Alrighty-roo. So I'm actually starting at rehearsal mark 3. I'm in 3/4 time. Okay. So here we go. So that's the end of 3. Obviously, I'm going very, very slow to make sure I catch everything. That's a good practice habit, to make sure I don't start off with wrong notes and bad habits at the very beginning. Okay, so part of the finger process is also figuring out where I'm going to play, which position I'm in, okay? All right, guys, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, guys, I'm back. It's been 5 minutes, and I figured out some of my fingerings. The thing about this Phillip glass violin concerto is that it comes unedited. So there are no fingerings in here. There are bowings, but I feel like they might be a little more like phrase markings instead. So I have nothing to go off of. So this is a lot of work, a lot of what do you want to say, like wood shedding, trying to figure out what my fingers are gonna be. So for the very first measure, I am coming up into 2nd position. Okay, and then after that, the next measure I'm having a little trouble with, trying to figure out how to do it smoothly and quickly. I've got a C sharp, F natural, and an A. So if I can figure out how to do that comfortably in 2nd position and I can stay, then I can do this fast. So I'm going to figure that out in the next 5 minutes. And then after that, I've got a D, F natural, and a B flat. I'm going to come down back into 1st. And then again, that weird C sharp, E, A sharp, so that coming out of the C sharp thing is stumping me a little bit. So I've got to figure out how I can do that comfortably, and that's my next task. All right, I'll see you guys again in another 5 minutes. Okay, guys, so I've got 10 minutes in total. Like I was saying, I was having a little trouble with the C sharp part. So at the beginning, now what I'm going to do is C sharp is 2nd finger, F stays with 1, and A stays the same. Okay, so that's what I figured out. The rest of it stays the same. I've got 2 more measures that are a little bit tricky along with the in that C sharp. realm. I can't play it the same way in that second position because of the notes changing. I still started on a C sharp, but I'm trying to figure that one out. My problem is that if I play it, I want to try to keep these on one string if possible, but that's not possible so far that I figured out in this situation. But if I try 3, I try to do it in first position, it's too much of a stretch for my hand. I'm feeling a lot of tension in here, which means I will not be able to play this quickly. So that's not going to work. So it's a 3rd finger. If I try 4th finger for the C sharp, E 1st finger, and then reach for the A sharp, then that also gives me the tension. So 3rd finger, 4th finger start is not going to work. Okay, so then my next option would be 2nd finger, C sharp, D, E. So to play C sharp, E. And then A sharp would be the 3rd finger, but it's a tricky fingering. Because I have to tuck the finger under. So it was at 3. So, or a 2 start. So 1 start, C, D, so 1, E, 2nd finger here. So maybe I just figured it out. 1 for the C sharp, 3 for the E, and then 2 will be the A sharp. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. So 1, 3, 2. Okay, and then and then it changes from A sharp to A natural. Okay, so then I would just have to bring the 2 into a lower position. 1, 3, down for the 2. Okay, cool. So I figured it out. So that was 10 minutes in. I'm going to practice this all together now that I figured out my fingers for another 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and give you the final run through for today for this section. Fingerings also kind of change throughout the process. I may keep these, I may not keep them. It depends. Fingerings have to go a certain way for certain reasons, or depending on the speed. So as I speed this up, these might not work anymore. So, all right, I'll see you guys in another 5 minutes. Hey guys, so I'm back. It's been a total 15 minutes of practice on this section. So let me run through it for you. Now, just so you know, I'm using separate bows because I always start separate bows or use separate bows when I'm trying to figure out the fingers, so I can focus solely on what the fingers are doing. Section 3 for the fingers, and as you could see, I was going slow, separate bows, and I have intonation problems, but I will work on those intonation problems in the next coming next couple of steps, okay? Alright guys, so I think, let me see where I'm at in time. Okay. Alright, so I think I have to stop now and make lunch because it's 12:09. And then after lunch, maybe I will be able to get some practice in on the section number 4 and figure out those fingers. I don't know. It just depends on how my day goes. I do have to start teaching early today. Again, not a complaint. It's totally fine. It's just the fact of the matter that I have less time to practice on days when I have more teaching. Alrighty, Roo. So I'll see you later maybe. If not, then I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hey guys, I'm back from my lunch break. I took a quick break just to eat something really quick so that I could get in a little more practice before I move on with my day. I was trying to record it with my good microphone, but for whatever reason it won't let me record while the video is being taken, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm on my iPad, so hopefully the sound comes out okay, and if it doesn't, then I don't know what to do about that. So, in the last segment, I worked on Rehearsal Mark 3. Now I'm going to work on Rehearsal Mark 4. I'm not going to stop in between the takes to talk about my process, since I already told you how I was doing it. I'm going slow, I'm using separate bows, that sort of thing. Also, I wanted to note that time-wise, there's no specific amount of time to have to practice something for. I'm just using it to kind of just have a stopping point, and then I can show you, so I don't have to film the whole thing for you, so you don't have to listen to me noodle and do repetitions for 15 minutes all together. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to stop and talk to you in between the takes, I think. Alright, so this is Rehearsal Mark 4. My goal is to figure out some fingerings that are going to work for this spot. So here is the first time I've ever played Rehearsal Mark 4. Back in 5 minutes. Okay guys, I got in 5 minutes of practice on this, so let me run through it for you. Talking between, but in the first 2 measures I haven't decided if I'm going to stand first or if I'm going to come up in second. I haven't decided yet, so yes, I put the slurs in, and yes, I'm going a little bit faster, but for some of this, the slurs are actually a little easier than doing separate bows now that I have the fingers figured out. Alright, I'll see you in another 5. I'm back. Okay, another idea. So, because I'm doing so much string changing throughout this section, it might be easier in the long run to actually do some string changes at the beginning to match my bow arm to the rest of it. So the first 2 measures I could come over to the open A. So I could do that, that's another possibility. Or I could stay on 1 string. So we go slow at the beginning. Okay guys, I'm back. I guess this is the 15-minute mark. I don't know. I gotta find some way to keep track of that. Alright, so let me play it for you again. I do have some of the bowings in, so we'll see how this continues to go. All right, bye guys. I'm back. All right, so I've got time. I'm gonna do rehearsal mark 5 as well because it's just a couple of measures and an arpeggio. So, all right, first thumb. Okay guys, here is section 5, what I've done after 5 minutes. Alright, second time, so 10 minutes I think. Nope, wrong. I added a note at the end. I added an E. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so here's the 15-minute mark. So I didn't stop with the one. That's a shift I'll need to practice. I really want to come down that one. Cool. Alright guys, I think that might be all the time I have for practice today. Maybe we'll see. So there it is. That's the start to the Phillip class violin material. Bye!